Welcome to my first ever mastery guide on a character. I hope you guys enjoy this. It's something I've been kind of wanting to put together for a long time, and yeah, everyone knows that the only character I've really ever mastered is Shugoki because I kind of suck at this game and suck with everyone else, so I hope you guys enjoy it, and as always, drop a like. Peace. So, welcome here to the video, everyone. It's with the Shugoki mastery guide. So first things first, you're going to be focusing on your basic combos. You see those up here at the top right hand corner. One of those is going to be Bash and Smash, which is going to be R1 and R2. Bone Crusher, which is R2 and R2. And your Charged Heavy Attack, which is going to be to hold R2. Okay? So those three attacks are going to be the main parts of your kit, but there's more than just those. Now, one other attack you guys are going to want to focus on is R1 and then Guard Break. So Light Attack and the Guard Break. And that's going to follow up your Light Attack with a Headbutt. Also, Heavy Attack and the Guard Break follows your Heavy Attack up with a headbutt. Now you actually have to land these attacks in order for you to land the headbutt. As you can see here, if I throw it and hit guard break, nothing happens. You can't follow the headbutt up if the attack is blocked. Also, Shugoki has a more powerful version of a light attack, and what I mean by that is that normally when a light attack is blocked, it kind of stops your combos. Shugoki doesn't have that. He has a passive feat on always that allows you to continue your chain through a block with a light attack. So that's something really neat that a lot of people don't know about, or at least don't pay attention to. So, moving on to the next thing, and that is Charged Heavy Feints. This is another big part of your kit that you're going to be utilizing quite a bit. And one thing that Shugoki has that a lot of characters don't is the ability to charge his heavies and let them go at any time. So, you know, if you just tap R2, you throw them out normally. If you hold R2 for a moment, you can throw them out without having them unblockable for the same damage. Or, if you want, you can charge them all the way up and let them fly for 60. Now, his top heavy does 45 damage, as you guys can see right there, no matter how much it's charged at, unless it does the full charge heavy, which is 60 damage. Now, his left heavies and right heavies do 40 damage, but when charged, do 60 as well as a top heavy. And the charged heavy isn't guaranteed off of anything, not even a wall splat, and it's very difficult to land on most opponents. It's not something you're going to want to utilize really in a 1v1 unless your opponent is out of stamina and you're trying to get them to get a parry. So what I mean by that is, after you have your opponent out of stamina, just like this, hold it, charge it, so right before it begins to go unblockable, let go of it. And sometimes if your opponent isn't very used to this game, they'll try to parry it. Now, when they try to parry it, obviously you can parry their attack, and your out of stamina punish, as Goki, is the charged heavy attack. So you grab them, throw them to the ground, and boom. Now, this is something you have to be very careful with, because with the charged heavy attack, they can get a free guard break as they're standing up, and it's not something you want to do if you're in low health. Now, there are a couple of exceptions to that rule, of course. You know, if you think you're going to get the kill, go for it, you know, or what have you. So, after you get your opponent out of stamina again, you know, you've got a lot of options on how you can actually go in and punish them. And my favorite, which is probably the most difficult to do, is a guaranteed Demon's Embrace. Just like that. Now, this is all about timing, and the distance your opponent is away from you isn't ever... It's something you're just going to have to adjust to and get used to. It's not something I would suggest doing unless you're in critical health, because at that point you're probably going to die anyway. Now, critical health in Shugoki, you can get a guaranteed Demon's Embrace off of a wall splat, and in critical health, that's when it comes in handy the most, because when you're in critical, you know, below 1 bar of health, that's when you get a guaranteed kill. Whenever you're, you know, for example, guard break, you throw an enemy into the wall, you can get a Demon's Embrace guaranteed. Now, if you were to do that, say in critical, you throw them into a wall, no matter how much health they have, it's an instant kill. It's 10,000 damage. So that's something that you need to keep in mind and look out for. Now, there's no such thing as an aggressive Shugoki right now in the meta. Now, you can't be aggressive against lower level players or players who are not aware of how to fight Shugoki really well. Shugoki isn't really in the meta right now, so you might get lucky and fight a player who just kind of wants to throw random attacks at you, and you be able to punish them for it. But Shugoki is all about mind games and trading. And let's go ahead and move on to the intermediate section of the guide. So for the intermediate section of the guide, this is where you have to decide if you're going to punish with different attacks or not. As you can see here, Warden throws his own attack, I can throw into a wall after a guard break and go for a Demon's Embrace. Now, I have a ton of options while fighting, most characters. See, with Goki, you can get a guard break out of most single attacks, such as Warden's Zone. That's the best example I could possibly give. You can get a guard break off of it because his zone follows right through as if he missed. You can get a light attack, or sometimes, if you're careful, you can also get a heavy attack off of it. So when he throws this, I can, counter it heavy. Now, this is something that I kind of wanted to bring up because when you go through and notice your hyper armor is up, that's when your situational awareness really needs to begin to kick in. Now, Goki's main part of his kit is a wall. And I hate to say that because it's kind of a third-party piece of his kit, but it's something that you can definitely utilize in duels a lot. You're going to want to slowly lure your opponent towards the wall. You don't want to just get over and run towards one and make it blatantly obvious that you're going for one. Just kind of, use your footwork, kind of ease around your opponent, and see if you can lure him over to one. Now, when fighting characters who have double lights like Shinobi, Orochi, things of that nature, even Shaman, your fights can be a little bit difficult because you can't really utilize your hyper armor as much unless you're able to parry lights very well, or even just dodge lights and parry the second one. Dodging isn't something I would ever recommend as Shugoki because obviously if he gets guard broken, then he takes 25% extra damage. That is an absolute fucking, game killer for Shugoki right now. When his hyper armor is done, he takes 25% extra damage, and I'll go ahead and I'll show that here. For example. Alright, so see his top light did 6 damage. His chain left heavy does 30 normally, right? Let's go ahead and move our guard here. That attack did 50 damage. So that should say, how much extra damage everything does there. So now we move on to the Demon's Embrace. Now, this is an attack that I see some Shugokis use, and I think it's very stupid. But you can soft feint your first heavy into a Demon's Embrace just like that, and get an insta-kill. If you were in critical. Now, in my opinion, I don't think this attack comes in handy at all, because you can't, once you start charging, it does you no good. So once you start charging, you can't soft feint, you have to hard feint it. And overall, it's just a pretty pointless move, unless you get someone who's trying to parry lights constantly, which it can be kind of funny to deal with them then, because then you just literally soft feint into Demon's Embrace, and maybe you'll catch them into mid trying to parry your light, which could be pretty funny. But I've only ever been able to pull that off, I believe, once in the past. So, moving on to another segment, and that's going to be the actual mastery part of the guide. So after much consideration, I decided that I would go ahead and hop into an actual game to give you guys the final part of the mastery guide. And to start off with, there's going to be a lot of mind games here that is something you need to pay attention to. Okay, well, this guy obviously isn't here, so...
Victory! Do I have to kill all of them myself?
Okay, so, well, shit. Apparently he's here now. Alright, so let's go ahead and step our game up here to the plate. First off, when you want to reset against an opponent like an Orochi, all you have to do is headbutt and follow that up. Literally, see, he backs up. Most assassins will, most characters will in general. And also, Shugoki's all about trades. You saw I was able to follow his heavy up with a trade of my own. That's one of the biggest parts of his kit. Now see I've already managed to lure him to a wall here, and once in a blue moon I just kind of followed up with a random guard break, and I can have some fun with that. He's into a wall. That's a free Demon's Embrace for me. I'm almost at full health and he's in critical now. There's not much he can do to win this fight unless he goes full on R1 on me, which it looks like that's what he's going to try to do anyway. But all I have to do is headbutt him back or just hit him with a light attack, and that's pretty much game at this point. So once again, when you get into Mastery of Shugoki, when fighting characters like this who are S tier, at least in my opinion, I think Orochi's S tier post rework, you're going to have to just play games with them a lot and really figure out where they land and how they play as a person with the character that they play. This man's a Rep 50 Orochi, and he's not really focusing a whole lot on his lights versus my lights. He's not trying to focus on trading. He's somewhat trying to turtle until my hyper armor is down. See, I just totally made a mistake because he back dodged, and Shugoki's guard break range is poop, but so is Orochi's. So that's going to give me a free Demon's Embrace again because I got the wall splat. And once in a blue moon after they get up, you can get another free guard break, and that's really fun to play around with. And that's a free guard break for me again, but he didn't hit the wall like I intended him to. I totally tried to throw him to the side, but just threw him forward. Okay, he just threw the light in the same direction 3 times. He just gave me a parry on a platter and just is not taking them. And here's where I'm going to try to go for a Demon's Embrace. Well, never mind, no I'm not. He's going to master the R1 button on me and I couldn't do much. In situations like this where they're constantly hitting R1, the only chance you have is being, you know, a parry whore or, you know, blocking. Now, 9 times out of 10 I can block or parry a light, but, you know, first match of the day, not going to try to make excuses for you guys. I'm not a solid player. You're going to have guys like this a lot who want to stay away from walls. This is where another mind game comes in, where you're going to try to just outplay them and be more patient than them. Constantly walking around near walls, that's going to get in their head more than it is yours. He could start teabagging here in a minute, which is a big possibility. Let him do it if he wants to. It shouldn't bother you. Being Shugoki is all about being patient, being a good player, and being very manipulative of the situations you're put in. See, in situations like this, where he's just kind of sitting in the middle, this is where you have the advantage. This is where you're getting in his head, not he's getting in yours. See, he's kind of daring me to come to the middle with him and fight him, and he knows that I don't have the kit to deal with the way he's fighting. So eventually he's going to come and challenge me, like he is now, or he's going to keep staying in the middle. Now, he stays in the middle, and we go to a draw for 5 minutes, which is okay with me. I'm okay with going to a draw. I don't care about it that much. So he's going to go back to the middle after he gets that damage in. There he goes with his parry. But I'm going to go in for another Demon's Embrace. So, you know, once again, I've got more health than he does. I don't have to worry about everything a whole lot right now. Now, once again, Shugoki takes 25% extra damage, which can be a little bit of a pain, but that's okay. Because, like I said, when it comes down to fighting other characters, Demon's Embrace is the biggest part of your kit that you're going to want to abuse. And yes, I say abuse because I'm completely and well aware that I abuse it. It's okay. Just, when you do something, you just need to admit that you're doing it. Also, he's blocked enough attacks that one light attack can get me the kill now, which is probably what I'm going to go for since I have my hyper armor up, which means that I can just kind of push him here and get the kill. And that's it on how to master Shugoki. It's all about mind games and mastery. And that's also how you get a rage quit at the end of a game.